War is Kind by Stephen Crane, 1871 to 1900. Do not weep, maiden, for war is kind, because your lover threw wild hands towards the sky, and the affrighted steed ran on alone. Do not weep, war is kind. Hoarse, booming drums of the regiment, little souls who thirst for fight, these men were born to drill and die. The unexplained glory flies above them. Great is the battle god, great, and his kingdom, a field where 1,000 corpses lie. Do not weep, babe, for war is kind, because your father tumbled in the yellow trenches, raged at his breast, gulped and died. Do not weep, war is kind. Swift blazing flag of the regiment, eagle with crest of red and gold, these men were born to drill and die. Point for them the virtue of slaughter, make plain to them the excellence of killing, and a field where 1,000 corpses lie. Mother, whose heart hung humble as a button on the bright splendid shroud of your son, do not weep, war is kind. Okay, this is a poem by Stephen Crane. Stephen Crane was an American. He was born in New Jersey, and his father was a Methodist minister. He came from a Methodist family. He is known for his the realism movement, American realism, and this is something that came from Darwin's theory of evolution, because this was a time when the theory of evolution was something new and something that was being hotly debated. And this realism is showing how the world shapes, or has shaped the human being, has shaped our characters and our desires. Now, this poem is very anti-war. It's full of irony and sarcasm. Now, you also need to remember that Crane worked as a war correspondent in the last couple of years of his life. But yes, he died aged 29. He died of tuberculosis. He was a war reporter, so he had seen wars, and he knew what war was like. And he's also famous for his novel, The Red Badge of Courage, which was about the American Civil War. Now, this is a poem that is full of sarcasm and irony. This is a poem which contrasts the horrors of war and the romantic notions and romantic ideas that society has of war. He shows, or he gives us an idea of the realities of the battlefield, of people actually dying. And this does not tally with the conventional ideas of heroic war and how heroic people are. And if you look, we have a girl who's whose lover, whose boyfriend has been killed in the war. We have a baby whose father has been killed in the war. We have a mother whose son was killed in the war. And I think he is trying to console them in a way. He's saying to them, war is this is the reality of war. War is actually like this. It's not the wonderful, glorious idea. And very clearly, Crane is an anti-war poet. This is not the first anti-war poem he has written. So anyway, let's look at it a little bit more clearly. Do not weep, maiden, for war is kind, because your lover threw wild hands towards the sky, and the affrighted steed ran on alone. So clearly her lover has been in a cavalry charge, and the frightened horse, steed, runs on after her lover threw his hands in the air because he's been shot on his horse, and he's dead, he's fallen, he's come off his horse. Don't weep, war is kind. This is the way war is. And this is such an irony, because how can war be kind? How can war be kind to take somebody, to kill somebody like this? And the maiden, this girl, is weeping for her lover, but he's dead, he's gone. And then we have the glory of war, as society puts it, the magic, the heroism. Hoarse booming drums of the regiment. So hoarse is, it describes the sound, the booming drums of the regiment. Little souls who thirst for fight. These men were born to drill and die. So I think it's interesting he uses this phrase, little souls. These aren't the big souls who refuse to fight, who refuse to do what society says is their duty. These are the little souls who go along with what society tells them, and they really want to fight. And these men, this was their destiny. These men were born to work, to follow the military training and to die. The unexplained glory flies above them. So the glory of war is something that they don't understand. They just believe it because they've been told that war is glorious. Great is the battle god, great and his kingdom. So the god of battle is great. Yes, you are glorious, you're a hero if you take part in a battle. And then we suddenly have a volta, a field where 1,000 corpses lie. So how can it be glorious to see a field with 1,000 dead bodies lying in it? How can that be great? Look at the caesura here, or the dashes here. A field where 1,000 corpses are lying. This cannot be great. It's just such a contrast, such a juxtaposition. Do not weep, babe, for war is kind. And again he's with this, war is kind. Don't cry, baby, because your father tumbled in the yellow trenches, because your father fell into the yellow trench. The earth is yellow. Ragged at his breast, so he's been shot in his chest, gulped and died. Do not weep, war is kind. So don't weep for your father. Don't weep because he's dead. And here again we have this massive contrast. Of course, when the baby is going to miss his father. And then we come back to the glory of war again. Swift blazing flag of the regiment, eagle with crest of red and gold. So it's a swift blazing flag. The flag's got an eagle and it's got red and gold, and it's so glorious, so handsome, so dashing, so wonderful, so heroic. Yes, this burning flag of the regiment, and it's got an eagle and a red and gold crest, and this is what we follow. These men were born to drill and die. So these people, the people who are fighting, these were people who were born to die. They can't see past the lies that governments are telling them, that they must fight for this. Point for them the virtue of slaughter. So explain to them how wonderful, how good it is to kill people. Make plain to them the excellence of killing. Explain to them how excellent it is to kill your enemy. And it can't be virtuous to slaughter. It can't be excellent to kill. And here, this is dripping with sarcasm and irony. And a field where 1,000 corpses lie. So how can this be excellent? How can it be good? How can it be glorious? A field with 1,000 dead bodies on it. Mother, whose heart hung humble as a button on the bright splendid shroud of your son, do not weep, war is kind. And now we have a mother who, her heart is broken. Her heart is broken by the splendid shroud. Splendid. The shroud is the cloth that's wrapped around the dead body. How can a shroud be splendid in this situation? Her son is dead. He's been killed in war. And her heart is broken. But society says that this was splendid. He was a hero. A hero loving his country, his cause. And also look here, heart hung humble, that's alliteration. Her heart hung humble. And I think also splendid shroud of your son is perhaps sibilance, is more alliteration as well. So here we have the mother who has lost her son, whose heart is broken by the death of her son. But war is kind. So this is a poem full of irony. It's an anti-war poem. This is somebody who has seen war, who's been a war reporter. And this is really a precursor to perhaps some of the war poets from the First World War. This poem was published in 1899. So, War is Kind by Stephen Crane. Bye for now.